It's that time again. It's time for all your stress and anxiety to culminate in one place. Montreal is facing off against the Washington Capitals tonight for their series in Game 5 of the Stanley Cup Playoffs. I'm not sure who's more stressed out, Montreal fans or the Toronto fans who just want to see their team clinch that second series.
No.
Big question is Montreal going to be playing the Capitals tonight, or is it going to be an uphill battle against the referees again? Let's talk about it.
Careful with my words, but it's hard to watch some of these calls.
This could be it. This could be the end of the season for Montreal. Whatever happens, they played this series fantastically. They were the better team in, 4 out of the 5 games. And the season was a huge step forward for them. They're way ahead of schedule. Their prospects are developing like crazy to the point there's a log jam and they don't know what to do. So it's hard not to consider everything up until this point a success, right? Except for the months before December. We don't talk about those. But I do want to talk about how this channel is growing. Thank you so much for all of your support. As always, if you're new here, hit that subscribe button. I'd love to have you as part of the community. Everyone else, just hit the like button and maybe comment down below telling me who your hockey hero was growing up.
Remaining in regulation time.
A little breakdown in the Montreal zone. We don't see.
So let's recap this game, but you know where we got to start? La formation de départ. Our starting lineup, we have Caulfield, Suzuki, Slavkovsky, Anderson, Dvorak, Gallagher, Newhook, Evans, Demidov, Heineman, Kapanen, and Armia. Line A is still not back. He traveled with the team, but he's not playing tonight. No défenseur. Our defensemen, we have Matheson and Carrier, Gooley and Hudson, and Xhekaj and Savard. Xhekaj is still there. Carrier didn't miss a game. Et notre gardien de but, c'est Jakub Dobeš. We got Dobeš in net tonight. Monty is not back. Would have been really cool to see Monty back tonight. Protas is back for the Capitals. He didn't have a very exciting night though. So before the game gets underway, the national anthems are sung, and we get a clip of the Capitals fans entering the Capital One Arena after the anthems have sung. They were in a real rush to get to this game.
Yeah, it's basically the same atmosphere as
So opening face-off, and Montreal is buzzing. Kapanen's shot from the slot, just 2 inches higher. We would have had a goal here. Matheson throws one in front, gets tipped. It goes off of Thompson's pad. This one could have went in. Gallagher gets a gift, but where does he decide to shoot it? No, he shoots it right against Thompson. And we see Gooley taking a shot with teammates in front, but Thompson gobbles it up. And then we see Hudson with an incredible opportunity off the draw. He dusts it off. I wonder what would happen if he had just taken the shot. Maybe things would have been completely different. Then we see PLD take a selfish, idiotic penalty, interference on Demidov. Can't imagine he felt good about taking that one. Now on the power play, Protas catches an edge and then trips Demidov in the Montreal zone. This should be a 5-on-3 at this point, but Habs go the other way anyway, and it feels like a goal is incoming. Caulfield takes a quick one-timer from Hudson. You feel like the next shot could be a goal. And this is where it all turns awry. Slav is on Duheim. Duheim's stick breaks when he's trying to clear the puck. Stick breaks against the boards. Slav is called for what looks like slashing to the refs, but really the stick breaks as he's clearing it against the boards. Well, that sucks. Certainly, it's not going to happen again that Montreal takes a scam penalty and the Caps punish them, right? So Ovechkin gets a goal. Very frustrating. Up until this point, Montreal was dominating the Caps. They were ahead in shots, I think 8-1. It really felt like Game 3 again. But hopefully that doesn't discourage them too bad. I know that it must be awful to continue to get these terrible penalties and get punished for them.
Dubois in front.
Then Chychrun scores. It's all downhill from here, basically. Dobeš is trying to keep them in it. He makes a bunch of huge saves, but the first period ends. Montreal is looking completely deflated at this point, and I don't blame them. The calls just have not gone their way this entire series, except for Game 3. And it's not even that the calls went for them in Game 3, there just weren't that many calls. First period ends 2-0 for the Caps, 9 shots for the Canadiens, 11 shots for the Caps. So they only managed to get one shot after that momentum killer. We start off the second period. Nick Suzuki gets cross-checked in front of his own net. He bowls into that net. Somehow the referees just don't see this. Yeah, Wilson shoves him into the net here. You guys got to call that. You got to call that. And Montreal gets a penalty. I'm going to challenge you. This is like, where's Waldo? Where's the penalty here? Let me know in the comments if you could spot it. So Matheson gets his stick on top of Protas's here. He was just tying up his man, but they're going to call that a slash. Montreal is getting preseason penalties in the playoffs, and the Caps are barely getting penalties at all. But Montreal gets away with one here, big time. Ryan Leonard is rushing the net. He gets tripped in front, and there's no call. This was an obvious one. This should have been called, certainly. Then we see Caulfield catch a high stick, literally right in front of a referee. No call. Then the refs continue to make really soft calls against Montreal. Super soft here. What do you think this is? Jake Evans touches Mangiapane's shoulder a little bit too long. That's going to be a holding call. And of course, that's going to result in another weak goal off another weak call.
Waiting. Pass across the crease off the outside of their wraparound attempt into a puck. Loose scores.
It's getting pretty hard to deny that the refs aren't influencing the outcome of these games, huh? Game management. Second period ends. Montreal continues to look beat down. Only 6 shots on goal this period. And the Caps, I believe, had 9. The third period starts, and what happens in the third period? Usually Montreal wakes up, and they do wake up.
Trying to play, Kapanen was there. Armia throws it down, scores!
Kapanen throws it in front of the net. Emil Heineman gets his stick on it, and it's in. Good things happen when you put it in front of the net. Montreal pours it on all period long. They end up with 14 shots this period. But it would really help if the refs just called 1 or 2 penalties against the Capitals. Anything, an interference call, a hooking call, another hooking call, anything would do. Montreal is now leading in shot total in this game. Evans throws it in front to Caulfield. He sets him up for a gift, but Caulfield can't get enough on it, I guess. Now with the empty net, the Canadiens are fighting to keep it in the zone. Hudson sacrifices himself. Wilson gets his shoulder in Lane Hudson's face. That's his MO, huh? No call, by the way. Now the very same shift, the puck trickles out to neutral ice. Hudson is still on the sheet. He blocks the shot. And now Montreal has the puck in the offensive zone. They're getting all sorts of shots on net. They smell blood, but they're not getting it past Thompson. They just need one lucky bounce, and then Captain Clutch can tie it up, and this game could go into overtime. But after another big flurry of shots, the Canadiens watch the puck come out of the zone, and Duhaime scores an empty net goal, ending the Montreal season. It has been an incredible season for Montreal. I think that this series really demonstrated to them what important games look like. And for the youngest team in the NHL, I think that they're the youngest now with Demidov on the team. I could be wrong. This is priceless. They're going to want to get back. Ivan Demidov's going to want to get back to the playoffs. Lane Hudson's going to want to get back to the playoffs. Nick Suzuki is going to want to get back to the playoffs. I find they have so many players with drive, so many players with determination, hockey nerd type players. There's no way that next season we find some sort of a regression. Hudson's only going to get better. Demidov's only going to get better. Slav is going to get better. Suddenly, Josh Anderson is maybe not back to his old self, but he's impacting the game in a huge way. Caden Gooley is phenomenal, and he's still developing. He still has time to develop. The logjam is coming loose a little bit. Who knows who's going to be on the team next season? There might be a little bit of growing pains initially, but Papa Savvy, enjoy your retirement. I hope he sticks around the Montreal area. Maybe he gets a job with the organization. A lot of good things coming. And I can talk about how this series was manipulated, how the better team did not win. But let's end on a high note. This offseason is going to be extremely interesting. Jeff Gordon has admitted that the team is way ahead of the rebuild. They're going to be looking for a second line center, a true second line center. And that's not to say that Kirby Dach isn't, maybe still a work in progress. This is just leaving me so much more excited for next season. I'm glad they made the playoffs. I wanted more. I wanted more than this first round, but I can't complain. There's still Michael Hage coming around the corner. There's still Jacob Fowler, who's a stud. Reinbacher, Engstrom, Mayu. Could we see Florian Xhekaj perform really well in rookie camp? Could we have a 2 Jack Eye team? That's bonkers. That kid is lighting it up over there. I don't know. It's bittersweet, but I think it's sweeter than bitter, right? That's going to do it for me, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Stick around. You know, I'm still going to be reporting on the other games for probably predominantly Canadian teams. I do like the Colorado Avalanche. I followed Patrick Roy over there when he played for the Habs. So they were my insurance team when I was a little bit younger. And I still kind of like them because they got McKinnon. McKinnon's from my neck of the woods. They got a lot of good Canadian boys on that team. But all that to say, I'm going to continue making videos. I'll continue making Habs videos as well. There will be Habs news trickling in here and there. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw maybe a contract extension sooner than later. So yeah, I appreciate you guys. I'm feeling sentimental. This is weird. Well, maybe it's not weird. I've been pouring a lot of my time into this, and it really feels like it feels like the end of the 24-25 season, right? All right, that's enough. Like the video, helps me out with something or other. Subscribe if you're not already subscribed. I'd love to have you. And as always, I'll see you down in the comments.